All right, pals, we're mixing up some paint today. Today I have to mix up, I think, 15 different colors for my next series of paintings. So I'm not thrilled about this, honestly. This is like one of my least favorite parts about the art process and then the poor paintings that I create. Um, Mixing paint, to me, honestly, I compare it to going to the grocery store and then coming home to cook. like I don't ever go to the grocery store and come home and make a meal because for some reason going to the grocery store is exhausting enough that I have no energy to come home and actually like make or eat the food once I get back. So mixing paint and then creating a painting is equivalent to that for me. So what I tend to do is I mix my paints about a day ahead in time of when I usually pour my paintings. And this honestly is twofold. One, it conserves my creative energy and the act of mixing the paint is more of just like a step in the process. Because once I get to the point of mixing the paint, I've already decided on the color palette in my mind. So the fun part has already happened. Then I let it sit for a day or so, and that's just because in the process of mixing all of the stuff together, because I mix acrylic paint with a couple different fluid mediums. The process of that obviously incorporates some air and bubbles and that kind of thing, and I want all of that to work itself out of the cup before I put it onto the canvas. So I'm going to be putting together look at these plethora of paints that you can see here, 15 different colors. And this color palette, I will go over kind of the thought process and creative process of how I came to all of these 15 different colors as I'm mixing it. But first I wanted to give you just a quick tour of what's been going on in the studio lately. So I recently went on a varnishing and finishing spree, and these are some of the pieces that I finished. I loved this like warm color palette. These are actually one pieces that I made last fall and I just haven't gotten around to varnishing them until now. So all kinds of beautiful fall colors that are in the mix here. But I tend to try to do these in batches just because, again, it's kind of one of those like creative energy conservation things that I tend to just do those types of things in batches. I love this piece over here, honestly, is my favorite. When I poured it, and then even now, it's got a lot going on. Like it is, it's some retro colors, honestly. And it's busy, but it's so pretty. Like the depth that's in it and all of the different, like the cells and the gold. Gosh, it's my favorite right now. So hi, Nate. This is my brother and the view of our valley and our farm. If you're new here, I create fluid art inspired by the farm life. This is our farm. This is my brother and then my two dogs, Norman and Fonzie. So next, let me give you a tour and lay of the land of the colors that I'm going to be mixing up here tonight, and just sort of start to explain to you where this brainchild came from. All right, so this is what I mean when I say that I create fluid art inspired by the farm life. This color palette is inspired by planting season. And you might be wondering like, what do you mean? Because planting season is like a season, not an image, not a color, but to me, it really is colors. You have the soil, the browns of the soil, and in our farm, we have clay too. Some of this red clay. There are some bright and exciting colors too, because there's a lot of anticipation and excitement that leads up to planting season. So some bright colors I've incorporated into this. But okay, I'm just gonna bear with me on this process here. So to start, I think the foundation of this color palette is going to be the land, obviously. That's really what we're focusing on in planting season anyways, is getting the soil ready to welcome this year's crop. My brother and dad have been hard at work at home, putting together equipment and making updates to our precision planting equipment, cleaning stuff, ordering seed and fertilizer, putting the fertilizer in the ground, just making sure everything is ready to go so that there is a good seed bed to put the seed into. So these colors, this one actually, no, this one here. These ones here, I think these are going to be my soil colors. Like I said, we have some clay soil on our farm, so this kind of reddish clay color, but then this nice burnt umber too. Then in the foundation of the soil, you have the seed that will be planted in the ground. And on our farm, we plant a lot of soybeans and corn, primarily corn, because we raise cattle. We make all of our own feed for the cattle. We're also in the Midwest, so we're Midwest farmers. So obviously yellows, and some of this gold. I cannot ever not do a painting that doesn't have this Deco Art 24 karat gold in it. So that'll be in there. And then I will have some of these lighter kind of taupes and off-white colors too, to balance out some of the dark colors within the soil. Then from the seed, obviously, grows the plant. So our greens here, dark greens, a bright green, and then I am super excited to try out this green gray from Liquitex. It's kind of just like this really beautiful pastel green. So then to bring all this together, obviously we need equipment, right? To plant everything in the ground. We are fans of red on our farm. Case IH red. This is the closest I can really get to that color, I'd say. Liquitex cadmium red deep hue is pretty close to Case IH red. Now I should pause here and clarify that while our favorite color is probably Case IH red, we do not discriminate on our farm. We have several others. We have a John Deere planter and Alice Chalmers. All are welcome. I would love to incorporate that. I'm a little nervous to put that into this color palette, honestly, just because it's bright and it's in contrast with some of these really earthy tones and everything. So I am very curious as to how that's going to pan out. Then obviously to kind of bring it together in some of the landscape scenes, I have blue for some sky, another kind of grayish blue too. This is actually literally called grayish blue from Amsterdam. And then staples, just black and white too, we're going to mix together. So yeah, quite the spread. All right, here are all the colors in their cups, just waiting to be mixed up. I started with a base of Liquitex pouring medium, and then I add in a few ounces of acrylic paint. And then I put a layer of Floetrol over all of this, mix it all together for a little while, and come back in with more Floetrol. The mixing together of all of this is probably going to be the not so fun part here for a while, so I'm going to turn on some music and zone out for a little while. 17 hand cramps later, I am done for the night. There are all the colors ready to go to be made into painting. So come on back to my channel and see what I create with this color palette inspired by planting season. And yeah, I'm excited to show you what I create and pour onto the canvas with these colors. Thanks for tuning in.